Let's start with the sentence. Let's actually sit with it and examine every single word, because if you rush past it, you will miss what it reveals. You will miss the portrait it paints. You will miss the story that was already unfolding on the other side of the same building when those words left her mouth. When you guys were cheering more for her, I was a bit upset. Next time, please go for me. Those words came from Aryna Sabalenka, the world #1. The owner of 3 titles already in 2026, a player sitting at 25 wins and 1 loss on the season, the most dominant force in women's tennis right now by virtually every measurable standard. And she delivered that sentence not from a press conference chair after a difficult loss, not from...
They told the crowd how to cheer. The world #1. After winning 6-1, 6-4. After dismantling her opponent with complete authority on the biggest court at the tournament, Aryna Sabalenka stood at that microphone and delivered a sentence that revealed everything about what was happening on the other side of Madrid that week. When you guys were cheering more for her, I was a bit upset. Next time, please go for me. They told the crowd how to cheer. The world #1. After winning 6-1, 6-4. After dismantling her opponent with complete authority on the biggest court at the tournament, Aryna Sabalenka stood at that microphone and delivered a sentence that revealed everything about what was happening on the other side of Madrid that week. When you guys were cheering more for her, I was a bit upset. Next time, please go for me. She was talking about Alex Eala, a 21-year-old from the Philippines who had just been banished to court 5 after filling the second largest stadium in the complex with an energy so powerful it reached the main court and registered in the world #1's victory speech. And what happened between those 2 moments is the story that tennis doesn't want you to see. 4 days before Sabalenka made that crowd comment, both women were inside the same building for the Laureus World Sports Awards. 2 players, same ceremony, same red carpet, but they chose to show up as completely different people. Sabalenka won Sportswoman of the Year, and by her own admission wanted to disappear from the stage. She wanted to be anywhere but under that spotlight. Eala walked that red carpet in a custom Filipino gown designed by her uncle. Beige chiffon, a piña bolero, a deliberate choice that she explained directly to the cameras. I've always had a dream that when I'm on a red carpet I'll wear what's called a Filipiniana. It's a very traditional Filipino formal wear. One woman retreating from attention, one woman stepping into it wrapped in the fabric of her nation's identity. That divergence followed them both into the tournament. 2 days after the ceremony, Eala dismantled former top 15 player Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova, 6-3, 6-3, on the Arancha Sanchez Stadium. Representatives from the Philippine embassy were in the stands. Filipino fans with flags, organized chants, an atmosphere that was impossible to ignore. When Eala picked up the microphone for her post-match interview, she shifted mid-sentence into fluent Spanish and the crowd erupted. 3 words detonated across social media within hours. I love Madrid. The Filipino army had arrived at the Caja Magica, and the tournament was on notice that something different was happening here. Something that rankings and seedings could not contain. Then Madrid made a decision that exposed everything about how tennis institutions still assign value. For Eola's second-round match against 19th seed Elise Mertens, they scheduled her on court 5, a minor outer court with a fraction of the capacity of the stadium she had just electrified. The fans who had traveled across an ocean found themselves physically unable to pack the venue the way they had 2 days earlier. The tournament had not given them a court worth filling. Eala lost that match 2-6, 1-6. But here's the detail that matters. While Alex Eala's supporters were being compressed onto court 5, Aryna Sabalenka was playing simultaneously on the Manolo Santana Stadium, maximum capacity, every seat filled, a full house around the world #1, and she still found the crowd's loyalty insufficient. That is not coincidence. That is a portrait of 2 completely different relationships with support, with community, with what it means to earn loyalty versus demand it. Because the fans who showed up for Eala were not there because of a seeding. They were there because she represents something ranking systems cannot measure. She is ranked 44th in the world but achieved a career-high 29th in March, the highest any Filipino woman has climbed in WTA singles history. An entire diaspora had reorganized itself around a left-hander from the Philippines. Tournament officials put her on an outer court and expected that energy to evaporate. Instead, it spread through the atmosphere so thoroughly that the world #1 felt it from a different stadium and walked to the microphone to complain about it. A player lost her match on court 5, and the energy her fan base generated still reached the main court loudly enough that Sabalenka commented publicly after her own victory. This was not the first time in 2026 that Sabalenka positioned herself in public conflict, when things deviated from her expectations. In March, after withdrawing from Dubai due to injury, she erupted at tournament director Salah Tatak when he suggested late withdrawals should face ranking point deductions. She called his comment ridiculous twice and threatened to boycott the tournament. The same player who publicly threatened a boycott over a director's tone is now being depicted as struggling with crowd loyalty. Consider what happened at the Bernabeu. Madrid organizers installed a temporary clay court inside Real Madrid Stadium for an exhibition that became one of the most watched tennis moments of the year. Rafael Nadal participated. Jannik Sinner participated. Iga Swiatek participated. The whole world tuned in for something that felt like a celebration of tennis as pure joy. Sabalenka declined, citing preparation while her peers transformed their sport into a global moment of connection. The fan reaction to her crowd comment confirmed what many had been sensing all season. Social media responses included "What a terrible person. The fans will support whoever they want to. This woman is insufferable. You are not the center of the WTA." That last sentence cuts deepest because it touches something real. The tour is not a one-woman show. Crowds are sovereign. They do not owe loyalty to a ranking. They give it to whoever moves them. Right now, Alex Eala is moving people in ways that a 3-title 25-1 season cannot replicate because what she represents goes beyond tennis. Greg Ruseski, former world number 4 and 12-year top 100 veteran, assessed her performance with precision that matters. She's too good a player, she'll figure it out. What I like is her resilience. A former world number 4 does not use that word carelessly. In professional tennis, resilience separates careers that end as footnotes from careers that rewrite records. The Caja Magica's decision to place Eala on court 5 was not a scheduling misstep. It was a statement about how tennis institutions calibrate star power entirely through ranking numbers, ignoring the reality happening on the ground. The Philippine embassy attended her first round. The crowd that filled the Aryna Sanchez Stadium did not arrive by accident. The Filipino diaspora has assembled into one of the most mobilized fan communities the WTA has encountered. Tournament directors are routing that energy onto outer courts because the ranking has not caught up to what is happening. That calculation is about to become untenable. After Madrid, Eala enters the Catalonia Open as 6th seed, then the Italian Open, then Roland Garros for her second career Grand Slam main draw. Each venue will face the same question Madrid could not answer. Where do you put a player whose fan base is bigger than her seed? The Filipino army is not traveling to Rome for vacation. They are going because she is going. That is a force no seeding can contain, and no scheduling committee can redirect without consequence. Meanwhile, Sabalenka faces Naomi Osaka in the round of 16. Osaka brings massive Japanese support into that match. If the Madrid crowd leans toward Osaka the way it leaned toward Eala's orbit, Sabalenka will have her definitive answer about whether Madrid is uniquely disloyal or whether she has been approaching crowds from the wrong direction entirely. During that court 5 loss, when a time violation warning landed on a day when everything was stacked against her, Eala did not absorb it quietly. She stood at that umpire's chair and said, "First of all, please let me speak." On a minor court in a lopsided match with her singles campaign collapsing, she demanded to be heard. That is the same identity she carried onto the red carpet in a gown designed by her uncle. The same identity she expressed switching to Spanish and sending a stadium into eruption. Eala lost her match and the story is still about her fans. Sabalenka won her match and the story is still about her complaint. That inversion tells you everything about where the genuine energy of this tournament actually lived. Real crowd power is not awarded by tournaments or manufactured in marketing meetings. It is built by a community that decided long before the WTA rankings caught up that Alex Eala was worth crossing an ocean for. What happens when Eala walks onto the clay at Roland Garros, and the Filipino army fills stands of a stadium that actually has room for them? What happens when the tournament cannot bury that energy on an outer court because the stage is too large and the moment too significant to minimize? Because this story is accelerating towards something tennis has never seen before. And the world number 1 just told us exactly how unprepared the establishment is for what comes next.